So, you've just found your first BK-18 on the roof of the Berezino police station, and you're wondering, well, how do I use this? Don't worry, it's not a stupid question. A lot more goes into it than you'd initially think. Now, if you're feeling charitable, I'm close to 2,000 subs. If you could help me get there, that'd be lovely. If you're new to the game and you don't know anything about shooting, you have to zero your guns. You can do this on keyboard and mouse by using the plus and minus keys on your keyboard. Now, of course, the best way to operate is in teams of 2 with a sniper and a spotter, so if you have somebody you trust doing this with you, then they can range in for you, and then you know how far to shoot. Now, if you don't, because this is a game, it's not realistic, whatever the case may be, you're going solo. You might not even have a rangefinder. You might not have a battery for it. Whatever the case may be, you're going to need a suppressor. If you don't have one, then you're going to have to get really lucky with your one shot to sight in. Now, in order to do this, most people take 3 shots, or maybe just 2. You have to think of what you're seeing in the scope, or I don't know, the iron sights. You need to think of how far away it is, and kind of like you need to make your best inference, your best educated guess on how far you think things might actually be. I know that's not really of much help, but if you don't come prepared, then you're already undermining yourself. In any case, put it to whatever range you think it might be. Take a shot. You will see it land somewhere. Now, if you don't, then you shot too high. So you know that you've shot too high, meaning you can zero down. This would be your second shot. Now, shoot again. If you've shot too low, now you should know what your range is. And then with your third one, well, that's just confirming it. However, that's 3 shots. If you have a water bottle suppressor, you're basically done for at that point. Just keep that in mind. So a normalized suppressor would be the optimal thing here. However, not everybody has that. Somebody might have a sporter, for fuck's sake, you know what I mean? The best snipers move and don't stay in one place for too long. However, it's hard to couple this with the fact that if you're out too far, you might not even have to move. You should really only move if you are concerned they are coming for you, pushing in your direction, etc. So if you're 800 meters out and you zero it in properly, feel free to take those shots, because I doubt it's going to make it to you in time if you know how to aim. Now, if you do land a shot, the blood splatter gets bigger and bigger the further away the distance is. That way the sniper will be able to see it. That's why that happens. So if you have a buddy, or if you're fighting someone else and it suddenly happens, if it's bigger, that means there's a sniper way out there. So you need to be careful. Here's another good one. Some people like to candy stripe their mags. So what does that mean? Well, if you have regular ammo and you have tracers light up, and that is helpful for seeing exactly where your bullet is going. Somebody else might see those tracers too, but, well, just rolling the dice, I guess. Anyway, candy striping is when you load one bullet, then a tracer, then a bullet, then a tracer. So you're just alternating between one and the other until the mag is full. You don't have to do that, of course. You could just load one tracer at the beginning and one at the end or something. I don't know. It's up to you. It's your ammo, your mag, right? And while we're on this topic, actually, check your ammo, check your mags, because whatever ammo you're putting into your gun might be ruining it much quicker. If it's damaged, badly damaged, or your mag is, you're probably going to jam. And you don't want to jam whenever you've just shot at someone and he's sprinting in your direction and you don't have time to clear the jam. The best time to shoot someone is whenever they're preoccupied and doing something. What does that mean? That means let them get comfortable. That means you might have to watch them for a few minutes. If they're constantly running around, fighting zombies, looking for other players, if you're at the airfield, basically, they're not going to relax, you know what I mean? You just need to find a moment where they sit still for just a second if they're looting a body, if they are inside a building, whatever the case may be. I know even whenever they loot bodies, they move left and right. Okay, people are paranoid as fuck. You can't really do anything about that, but that's what center mass shots are for, which is what you should be doing anyway. Because believe it or not, I know you want to hit your target, and center mass gives you the best opportunity to do so. So wait until they're busy. Now, if you can't do that, if they're constantly on top of their game and they know what the fuck they're doing, try leading your targets. This is a little bit hard to do, especially in a video game, or if you're coming from another video game, it's different. It's DayZ, so you need to just, if you're curious what leading means, you're just aiming in front of them in whatever direction you think they might go. This is hard to do, and it's going to take a lot of practice, especially with somebody running or sprinting erratically. So if you have a free gun, ammo, you've got some zombies in the distance, you have a suppressor, nobody's around you, take some shots, okay? Have some practice. Me and my friend almost never really shoot our guns unless we absolutely positively have to, but the guns are in the game for a reason, okay? You need to practice, and if you don't practice, you're not gonna do anything, It's better to use the gun and maybe get seen or have to, log or some shit than not being able to at all, I just saw a video on the DayZ subreddit of some guy sticking his combat helmet out and drawing sniper's fire, which is a good tactic, and it's been used for fucking at least a century at this point. And it works. I myself have done something similar a couple times. Nothing with like a helmet though in my hand. I've stuck my head out literally for not even a second just to see what would happen, and believe it or not, they do try to take that shot. So if you're worried about somebody that might be tracking you, there's a good way to try it if you're feeling risky. However, it might be better to just hold a helmet in your hand, aim with your fists like you're gonna punch, and just slightly stick it out of a window or a doorway. You'd think we could stick it onto a long stick by now, but there's more important things coming down the pipeline. If you're working together with somebody, then I would say you should definitely try to draw their fire, because if you can do that and work together with somebody, then they'll be focused on you or the other person instead of whoever's actually trying to kill them. We do this all the time. No matter what, if you can distract them, if you can get them out of their center of calm, whatever the fuck you want to call it, that'll be what helps you. If it means you have to blow your cover and throw a smoke grenade outside to get to another building or just run away, then fuck it, dude, do it. You don't have to win. You can always run away. You can always reposition. And you should, if you think they know where you are. Now, this comes down to a little bit of personal preference. I prefer the guns that have the internal magazines, because you don't have to fuck around with mags. You don't have to constantly load. Like, it takes time in a fight, and you never have enough mags loaded for it to be over, And when that happens, and when you run out of ammo in your mags and you have to reload them, you're in a tough spot. Internal magazines do away with that, but the downside is if you're just holding the R key, for example, and you're just loading whatever random ammo you have, you don't know what you're shooting. If you're shooting tracers, if you're shooting regular ammo, that's the trade-off. However, it's much quicker. So if you don't give a fuck what you're shooting, as long as you're suppressing somebody, then fuck it, dude. This one is a little bit more common sense, but if you're standing up, you'll have rifle sway. which means you have to hold control to hold your breath. If you're sitting down, kneeling, you'll have a little bit less sway. However, you still might need to hold your breath. Going prone gives you the least amount of sway because, of course, you're on the ground. However, you still might need to hold your breath for that critical shot. If you're worried about an enemy and they're starting to come towards you, don't panic. Panic is what'll fuck you up. Keep your shots calm and steady. Because if you don't, you'll be inaccurate and you'll be all over the place. So, what you need to do is shoot carefully. Don't shoot a million times in one go to have a burst. You shoot in calm, collected bursts, maybe 3 to 5 rounds at once. Not the entire. Don't mag dump them. You'll be off target, and you'll be out of ammo. Just try to remember. Think what you're doing, how you're doing it, how far they are, and how close they're coming. Communication is key. There is this modded server I joined a few months ago at this point, and me and my buddy hooked up with a couple randoms. However, they said, well, we've got a couple radios, so you guys just want to do things that way, and we passed them around. However, they were in Discord and we were in Discord, 2 separate ones. And we eventually got onto Discord later, but since we were still in that initial, distrust, I don't know, should we still hang around with these guys? Should we break off somewhere up here where they can't see us? Type thing. We stayed with the radios for a little bit. And it wasn't that bad. It was better than nothing. Especially whenever bullets start flying and you don't know who's who. That's another reason to have armbands. Let the environment help you and work to your advantage. So if you see a player in a crowded zombie area, maybe let off a few shots, maybe just let the player fight the zombies, and then when they're fighting the zombies, take that shot, Truthfully, I think the best scenario is getting them holed up inside a building, so getting all of the zombies aggroed, maybe by letting off a shot or two. Get them out, get them all aggroed on that player, force them into a building. Now you know where they are. Now you know where you need to go, where you need to wait. And you have them in your hands. If you or your group are moving on to an area, survey the area beforehand. Try to find a high place that looks down onto it. That way you can give your buddies some overwatch.